Look like the WNBA has become the laughingstock of all sports, man, because the ticket prices are horrendous. This is a championship game, dog.
Okay, so you guys probably haven't even seen these getting prices for the finals, right? We're talking about tickets for every single game, even Game 7, costing less than your average fast food combo. It's wild. You know things are off when you can snag a WNBA finals ticket for like $25. Seriously, that's not a typo. So, how did a season of the league called their most successful ever end up with empty seats and tickets cheaper than the movie? I mean, would you even go if tickets were only $25? Listen, we got to talk about this mess because it's pretty unbelievable. The WNBA has spent all season bragging about record viewership and historic growth. But here we are at the finals, and ticket prices have totally crashed faster than a no-whistle fast break.
Will debut the Las Vegas Aces versus the Phoenix Mercury. And I'm telling you right now, this is probably going to be one of the lowest rated WNBA finals. And
it's not like this is some small-time event. Let's get into the specifics. Take game 1 of the WNBA finals in Las Vegas, the entertainment capital. You'd think that place would be absolutely packed, right? Nope. Nosebleed seats were like $30. Lower bowl, $45. If you want to sit just behind the bench, that was $90. And the second row off the court, around $130. Honestly, I've paid more for parking at some concerts. And here's the kicker. Compare that to last year. Those same exact seats were 2 or 3 times more expensive. Courtside last year was about $2,000, and this year you can grab one for just under $000 if you're feeling really fancy. Behind the basket, prices are in the $800 range, and that's probably the only part of the arena that's even close to selling out. What's crazy is these aren't even reseller prices. These are straight from Ticketmaster and SeatGeek, which means the league and the teams can't even fill seats at their own face value. That's a problem.
We know the controversy that led up to this game is pretty much attached to Caitlin's name. That is the Las Vegas Aces actually knocked off Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. Well, Caitlin did not play, but we know the referees kind of had a hand in that, we should say, with kind of making sure the Las Vegas Aces was pushed to making it to the finals. Not to mention, we got none other than DeWanna Bonner, former Indiana Fever, quit the team herself in the talk and conversation of this WNBA finals. And more importantly, her significant other, Alyssa Thomas, has found herself in some hot water as well, with not really speaking about the current.
Now, it's not like Vegas doesn't like basketball. The Aces have been on fire. Wilson is putting up superstar numbers, and Chelsea Gray and Kelsey Plum are seriously Showtime players. Plus, they're playing the Phoenix Mercury, a team that actually fought their way back into relevance. But here's the truth, and it's a tough one. Nobody outside the really hardcore WNBA fans actually cares. And that, my friends, is the league's biggest nightmare. Because when Caitlin Clark was playing, tickets were gone in hours. You couldn't find resale seats under $200 for Fever games back in May. But now, without her on the court, that whole buzz is just gone.
And that is the WNBA ticket prices. Yes, you guys heard me correctly. The ticket prices. So Legion Hoops, they made it their business to tweet about this. Now, I find this to be quite funny, me personally. Right? It says tickets for Game 1 for the WNBA final between the Aces and Mercury are starting at just.
So this really proves what a lot of fans have been saying all along. The league's whole hype this year wasn't about some natural growth or amazing marketing. It was all because of Caitlin Clark. She was a show. She brought in all the fans, the headlines, the sponsors, and the numbers. Without her, the league is pretty much back to what it's been for years, just fighting for relevance. Now, here's where it gets either really funny or just plain sad, depending on how you look at it. Commissioner Cathy Engelbert is still out there giving speeches, telling everyone the league is in the strongest position ever. Ma'am, if it's so strong, why does it cost less to see your finals than it does to bowl a few frames at the MGM? The ticket charts tell the real story here. Prices started around $50 for upper-level seats when the matchup was announced, but within a week they dropped 20%, and by the time the media even started reporting on it, You could buy lower bowl seats for under $60.
Time WNBA MVP Asia Wilson can't even get tickets up to $50. Bruh, this is bad. I mean, this is beyond bad. This just tells you the state of this damn league. And I'm here to tell you, this is hella funny. It says the most unwatchable basketball product possible between the two teams left standing, not to decimate it by injury. Cathy Engelbert really outdid it herself.
That's just a disaster for the optics, especially when you remember the WNBA has been pushing this historic growth story all year. We heard about brand deals, Nike partnerships, and record merch sales. But honestly, what good is all that if no one shows up for your actual championship? Now, of course, the defenders online are already in full damage control. They're saying, oh, but it's Vegas. There's so much competition. Sure, I get that, but this is the finals. When the NBA finals eventually land in Vegas, you won't see $25 tickets. You won't see $45 lower bowl seats. People will be paying thousands because people care. The truth is, the league really messed up. They put way too much weight on social media hype, and not enough on building a real fan base that actually shows up. And here's another point nobody wants to say out loud. This finals matchup has absolutely zero storylines that attract casual fans. You don't have Caitlin Clark. You don't have Angel Ree. There's no viral drama or trash talk to keep people invested. It's just basketball. And while the product itself might be solid, the league has kind of trained fans to only care about the controversy, not just the game. Let's be honest. The Mercury versus Aces series doesn't exactly sell itself. There's no big rivalry, no real tension, no good guy versus villain narrative. Just two teams playing good basketball in front of half-empty stands. Even some players have started to quietly admit that the finals energy just isn't there. Compare that to the start of the season when every Caitlin Clark game felt like a national event. Fever games were packed. Reporters were everywhere. Fans were lining up outside. That energy is totally gone now. And it's not just about Clark being injured either. It's about how the league treated her and her fans all year. Every time she got fouled or ignored or criticized, fans note. Every time players seemed to mock her success, fans tuned out. Now that the Caitlin bump is gone, the numbers are crashing right back to reality. And let's not forget how this looks heading into CBA negotiation. The players want higher salaries, bigger revenue shares, and more benefits, which is fair. But how are you going to demand a big pay raise when your finals tickets can't even clear $40? Owners and networks are going to use this as amp. They'll say, look, you had your best season ever and fans still didn't show up. The sad thing is this hurts everyone, the players, the fans, the league, all of it. Because low attendance doesn't just mean lost revenue. It means fewer sponsors, weaker media deals, and less leverage in every future negotiation. And then you still have Cathy Engelbert out here giving press conferences like everything's fine, talking about record growth and expanding the game and the state of the league being strong. Meanwhile, fans can't even be bothered to show up for $30 tickets. If you're going to claim historic success, you can also have historic apathy from your audience. What's worse, the optics online are brute. People are posting screenshots of the ticket maps showing hundreds of unsold seats in every single section. Some are sarcastically calling it the most accessible finals in history. Others say the silence in the arena is louder than the officiating whistles this season. This all circles back to one big issue. The league keeps ignoring what fans actually want. They want consistency. They want stars promoted properly. They want fair officiating and respect for the athletes, not politics, not drama, not just PR. But the WNBA keeps tripping over itself. Try balance image management with actual fan engagement. It's like they're allergic to success that just comes naturally. Caitlin Clark brought in an audience they never even dreamed of. And instead of totally embracing it, they treated it like a problem. Now, just look where we are. A finals with historically low ticket prices, half-empty arenas, and a commissioner pretending it's all part of the plan. It's genuinely hilarious and depressing at the same time. And honestly, if this keeps up, next year's finals might just be hosted at a high school gym. Now, let's talk about how this whole collapse could have been avoided. Because really, it didn't have to be this bad. The WNBA had all the right ingredients for a strong final season. A growing fan base, national attention, new sponsors, and one of the most talked about players in all of sports. But somehow, they managed to turn all that momentum into $30 tickets. It's almost impressive in its own way. For months, Cathy, Engelbert, and her team were patting themselves on the back, acting like they just cracked the code to women's basketball. Every press conference sounded the same. The numbers are up. The brand is strong. We're growing faster than ever. But behind all those slogans, the product itself didn't actually change. Same limited marketing. Same officiating complaints. Same dull broadcast angles. They thought hype alone could carry the finals. And now reality just punched them in the face. Even the players know Sophie Cunningham, Nafisa Collier, A.A. Wilson. They've all taken turns calling out the leadership. And instead of fixing the issues, Engelbert just keeps holding listening sessions and forming task forces. Great. Another committee. Because that's exactly what every struggling league needs. More meetings and less action. The truth is, the league refuses to face the one thing that's painfully obvious. Fans came for Caitlin Clark, not for the WNBA. That's the uncomfortable part everyone's afraid to say. Without her, there's no spark, no drama, no one pulling in millions of viewers. The finals should feel like the absolute peak of the season, not just a hangover after the party. Now, the marketing team is scrambling to post highlights, push storylines, and flood social media with empowerment hashtags. But honestly, it's too late. You can't just hashtag your way out of empty seats. And this whole cheap ticket spin, please? They're calling it making the finals accessible for all fans. No, it's making the finals look desperate. Accessibility is when you sell out and open more seats, not when you slash prices 70% because no one's buying. Even ESPN doesn't seem excited. The coverage feels half-heart. The crowd shots look awkward. You've got rows of empty chairs behind the broadcast booth, and it just kills the energy on TV. For a league that constantly talks about momentum, this finals feels like someone just hit the brakes hard. And the funniest part, they can't even blame the economy. The same fans who are paying hundreds for concert tickets, UFC fights, or college football games are skipping this. It's not about money. It's about interest. If people aren't willing to spend even $30 to watch the finals live, that's not a pricing issue. That's a relevance issue. The WNBA had a once-in-a-generation chance to lock in new fans. All they had to do was keep them entertained and make them feel like the league was worth following, even when Clark wasn't on the floor. But instead, they alienated her fan base, silenced her supporters, and turned every storyline into off-court drama. And now they're paying for it, literally. You'd think after years of we're growing the game, they'd figure out that growth doesn't mean anything if people stop showing up. Fans aren't asking for perfection. They're asking for excitement, for effort, for leadership that doesn't feel like it's running a summer camp. Let's be honest, the league can't keep pretending that this is fine. You can't tweet about record growth every week and then sell $25 finals tickets in Las Vegas like you're promoting a middle school talent show. That's not growth. That's panic disguised as optimism. And don't get me wrong, Vegas has totally done its part. The Aces are an entertaining team. They've got stars, fans, and a strong home-at-court setup. But when even their finals crowd looks half empty, you know there's a problem that goes beyond just one team. The Mercury might not have the star power of Caitlin Clark. But come on, this is supposed to be the championship round, not a preseason scrimmage. Every sport depends on hype to sell the big stage. The Super Bowl, the NBA Finals, March Madness, all of them feel like massive event. The WNBA Finals. It feels like someone accidentally scheduled it between two pickleball tournaments. And let's not forget this was supposed to be their year. With all the attention Caitlin Clark brought, the league had an easy win right in front of them. They should have doubled down on marketing, ridden that wave, and created a finals atmosphere that felt bigger than life. But instead, they got lazy. They assumed the attention would just carry over like fans would automatically watch out of habit. That's not how this works. You have to give people a reason to care. You have to build storylines, create rivalries, tension, something that makes fans say, I absolutely cannot miss this. Instead, the biggest storyline right now is how cheap the seats are. So, yeah, $25 gets you a finals ticket. And apparently, no one's lining up. The WNBA says it's growing, but these seats tell a completely different story. Maybe the league should focus less on hashtags and more on keeping fans actually interested.